At 3 a.m. in the Red Sea, beneath the quiet passage of billion-dollar container ships, an unseen danger is already in motion. From the disputed coastline of the Arabian Peninsula, 22 missiles and one-way attack drones are launched in a single coordinated wave. Their target is a lone American destroyer, the USS Laboon. The U.S. Navy now has just 4 minutes and 30 seconds to regain control of the situation. When 22 threats are racing toward you at once at terrifying speed, how can one ship possibly hold the line? Or is it truly operating alone? The Bab el-Mandeb Strait is far more than a narrow stretch of water. It is one of the world's great economic lifelines. Around 12% of global seaborne oil passes through this choke point, along with nearly 15% of all maritime trade, representing more than $1 trillion in commerce every year. Inside the Combat Information Center, or CIC, aboard the USS Laboon, an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, the atmosphere is calm but intensely alert. This is not the silence of rest, it is the silence of absolute concentration. More than 20 officers and sailors are at their consoles, only a small part of a crew of more than 300, all taking part in Operation Prosperity Guardian. Their mission is to protect freedom of navigation, one of the core principles of maritime law, against highly uneven and unconventional threats. USS Laboon DDG-58 operates with the Aegis Baseline 9C1 system and an upgraded SPY-1D radar fully integrated into the Aegis network. As a key node in Carrier Strike Group 2, the ship shares fleet-wide data through Link 16 and the cooperative engagement capability. The tactical action officer watches a single, unified picture built from every sensor in the area. Then the silence breaks. From a concealed launch site along the coast, an order is given. In an instant, a saturation attack begins, a calculated strike designed to overwhelm the defenses of any one ship. From Yemen's coastline, a command is issued, backed by support and guidance from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds Force. The attack has been carefully prepared. 14 unmanned aerial vehicles take off, 8 configured as one-way attack systems and 6 serving as decoys. Alongside them come 6 anti-ship cruise missiles, including 4 subsonic sea-skimming variants and 2 faster models. Above them all, 2 Fateh 110 class anti-ship ballistic missiles rise into the sky. 22 threats launched almost simultaneously. Inside the CIC, 4 massive Aegis displays, each capable of tracking and showing more than 1,000 separate contacts at once, begin to fill with red hostile symbols. This is a swarm, a saturation tactic built on one brutal idea: present more targets than the defense can handle in the time available. The logic is simple. Sheer numbers can become a weapon of their own. But the U.S. Navy's response had already begun even before those red icons flashed onto the screens. Just 15 seconds after the launch, satellites from the space-based infrared system, positioned in geosynchronous orbit roughly 22,000 miles above Earth, detect the bright infrared plumes of the boosters against the cold background of the planet. The data is instantly sent to ground stations, processed, and pushed across the Link 16 network at 115 kilobits per second. At the same time, an E-2D Advanced Hawkeye airborne early warning aircraft, flying at 25,000 feet, picks up the low-flying threats with its powerful 24-foot APY-9 radar, a system capable of detecting small, low-reflectivity drones from more than 300 nautical miles away. Data from space and air is fused into one picture, and advanced algorithms begin working at full speed. The conclusion comes immediately. The 2 anti-ship ballistic missiles are the most urgent danger. On the main tactical display, the threat picture is stark. Vectors converge on the Laboon from different directions and altitudes. Group 1, 8 Shayed 136 drones, moving slowly at 115 knots and only 50 feet above the water, guided by GPS toward impact with the ship. Their main purpose is to act as decoys and draw away precious interceptor missiles. Group 2, 4C-802 anti-ship missiles racing in at Mach 0.9, skimming just 10 meters above the sea. Their active radar seekers are ready to lock on during the final approach. Group 3, the most serious threat of all. 2 anti-ship ballistic missiles already entering the terminal phase, descending from altitudes of up to 100 kilometers at speeds above Mach 3. A high-speed dive that leaves almost no margin for error. 22 threats were now closing in within a 2-minute window. The question was no longer whether to respond, but how to divide the ship's resources. Should the Navy commit its multi-million-dollar SM-3 Block 2A interceptors to stop the ballistic missiles while they were still outside the atmosphere, or save the ship's stock of evolved Sea Sparrow missiles for the incoming wave of UAVs and sea-skimming cruise missiles? A digital countdown clock appeared on the screen. Time to first impact: 4 minutes, 30 seconds. The attackers believed a saturation strike would overload Aegis. What they failed to understand was that they were not facing a single ship. They were facing an entire network. And in modern warfare, one lesson keeps proving itself again and again. The speed of detection, processing, and data sharing can outperform the speed of the weapon itself. The tactic was straight from the textbook. Launch a large wave of low-cost decoys to create confusion, burying the most dangerous threats inside the noise. In their doctrine, nearly 70% of the opening wave was considered expendable. But for a fully integrated Aegis system tied together through cooperative engagement capability, there is no clutter. There is only data. At 3:05 local time, the launch was detected almost instantly by SBIRS satellites and the E-2D Hawkeye. The information was fused immediately, allowing Aegis to classify and rank every threat by danger level. Anti-ship ballistic missiles first, then high-speed anti-ship cruise missiles, followed by subsonic cruise missiles, and finally unmanned aerial vehicles. Within just 10 seconds of launch, the Combat Information Center aboard USS Laboon had a complete tactical picture. The element of surprise was gone. Link 16 was doing more than sharing tracks. It also enabled launch-on-remote capability, meaning a Super Hornet could fire using targeting data provided by Laboon's radar, even against threats beyond the aircraft's own sensor range. Then the second layer of defense came into action. The two anti-ship ballistic missiles, now in mid-course flight and moving at nearly 4 kilometers per second, were the most immediate and devastating threat. The tactical action officer spoke in a calm, controlled voice. "Engage ballistics, fire." Two SM-3 Block 2A interceptors launched into the night. The missiles climbed vertically, reaching an altitude of roughly 150 kilometers and passing beyond Earth's atmosphere. Their third stage separated, releasing the LEAP vehicle, the lightweight exo-atmospheric projectile. Using its own thrusters, LEAP guided itself precisely to the intercept point. There was no warhead, no blast, just pure kinetic impact. The collision happened at a closing speed of more than 10 kilometers per second. 3, 2, 1. The target simply disappeared. On the Aegis display, the highest priority threat vanished at a distance of 600 kilometers. According to Missile Defense Agency test data, the SM-3 has achieved a live fire interception success rate of more than 80%. With the ballistic danger removed, attention shifted to the next wave. 4 cruise missiles and 6 fast-moving UAVs were now in mid-course flight, closing from 50 to 100 kilometers out. It was time for the air wing to step in. On the deck of USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, steam catapults fired with relentless rhythm, launching fully armed fighter jets every 30 seconds. 4 F/A-18E Super Hornets, equipped with APG-79A ESA radars, were already in the air. Each carried up to 12 AIM-120D AMRAAM missiles, weapons with an effective range beyond 100 nautical miles. Targeting data flowed directly from the E-2D Hawkeye through the CEC network. The Super Hornet pilots stayed electronically quiet, relying on offboard targeting to receive firing solutions far beyond visual range. Then, 10 AMRAAMs were released into the darkness. In the final seconds of flight, their own active radar seekers switched on and took over. On the tactical display, 10 more red markers vanished at a distance of 80 kilometers. A pilot's voice came through the secure network. "It's not my radar, it's the fleet's. I'm seeing through the Hawkeye's eyes 200 nautical miles away." But the engagement was not over yet. The remaining 8 UAVs pushed inside the 20-kilometer line. At that point, the AN/SLQ-32 V6 electronic warfare suite went to work, disrupting their GPS guidance and data links. With an effective reach of nearly 50 nautical miles, the electronic attack stripped more than half of the incoming targets of control. Several drifted off course and dropped harmlessly into the sea. The next response followed immediately. 2 more Mark 41 VLS cells opened, this time launching RIM-162 Evolved Sea Sparrow missiles. The ESSM can accelerate to around Mach 4, and with thrust vector control, it can pull violent maneuvers of up to 50 G. 4 missiles streaked out in quick succession, each assigned to its own target. One after another, the remaining tracks were intercepted. The swarm was being taken apart, layer by layer. But in naval combat, almost means nothing. 2 UAVs, by sheer chance, slipped through every defensive ring. Now they were in the terminal phase, only 300 meters away and beginning their final dive. This was the realm of the last line of defense. The Phalanx CIWS Block 1B, an autonomous 20mm Gatling gun, came alive. Its dedicated Q-band radar locked onto the first target at a range of 1.5 kilometers. No one needed to touch a thing. 15 seconds. The system computed the drone's speed, flight path, and exact intercept point. 10 seconds. The 6 barrels began to spin, first as a low mechanical hum, then rising into a sharp, unmistakable roar as they reached 4,500 rounds per minute. 5 seconds. The gun opened fire. A stream of 20mm armor-piercing tungsten rounds poured into the dark. Every 5th round was a tracer, painting a bright red path through the night until it met the first drone. The target did not survive the impact. It broke apart instantly in a burst of fragments and light. In less than half a second, the mount pivoted, found the second drone, and fired again. The last threat was torn apart and fell into the water, short of the ship. Then a calm voice carried across the CIC. All threats neutralized, 0 hits. The engagement sequence was complete. 22 threats had been tracked, engaged, and intercepted. Defense was successful. Mission status now shifted from protection to response. The Super Hornets transitioned from fleet air defense to suppression of enemy air defenses. CAD mode was now active. Using electronic intelligence gathered through the AN/ALQ-214 pod, the pilots were able to pinpoint the origin of the emissions coming from the launch area. Analysis identified 3 transporter erector launcher vehicles and 2 UAV control stations along the Hodeidah coast. Those launch points could not be left intact. The order for a follow-up strike was given. 8 GBU 38 Joint Direct Attack munitions were released from the Hornets. At the same time, 4 AGM-88E advanced anti-radiation guided missiles were launched. These weapons do not search for heat or visual targets. They home in on radar emissions. They race toward the S-125 air defense radar sites being used to shield the launch positions, locking onto their electronic signatures. From the deck of USS Laboon, sailors could see faint flashes far off on the horizon. In less than 10 minutes from the moment the attack had failed, the launch network behind it had been located and taken out. This was not only a victory of advanced equipment, it was a victory of doctrine, coordination, and information dominance. The enemy had not faced a single ship. They had faced a connected force that could detect, share, decide, and act faster than any incoming weapon. The very moment the missiles were launched, their position had already been revealed to overhead sensors, and the outcome was set in motion. For the crew of Laboon and the air wing of the Eisenhower, it was another watch in the Red Sea, protecting one of the world's most important maritime corridors. The tactical lesson is hard to ignore. In modern warfare, information advantage powered by systems like Link 16 and real-time sensor fusion can outperform raw firepower alone. This network does more than defend warships. It helps secure the critical routes that keep the global economy moving. And above all, this is a tribute to the people behind the systems, the sailors, aviators, and operators who turn some of the most advanced machines ever built into a seamless performance of discipline, timing, and precision.